Hey world, it's your girl Nina Love. Thanks for being here. This is my regular Wednesday video podcast. Every Wednesday, I sit down and talk about different subjects. And so that's what I'm gonna do. Turn me on while you're driving to work, driving the kids to school, or if you're at work or at home, cleaning the house, whatever, turn me on, listen to me in the background, and let me know what you think. This past week, I posted on Instagram and my Facebook page what the viewer, you, wanted to talk about this week. Once a month, I'm going to open it up to everybody to suggest topics for me to talk about. So this week, I'm going to cover Memoirs of a Geisha. If you remember from last week, I think I talked about it last week. Anyway, I'm going to talk about Memoirs of a Geisha. I just completed the book on Sunday. And then I'm going to talk about sex. Is it necessary in a relationship? And then finally, I'm going to reveal my most embarrassing moment. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? So, Memoirs of a Geisha. I just completed the book on Sunday. And it's such a good book. It really is a really good book. So after I completed the book, I watched the movie. And so the person was asking me what the comparison was because this person really enjoyed the movie. I did not particularly like the movie versus the book. Most times, I rather have the book. Like the only book that I can think of that I liked the movie just as much as the book is Malcolm X. I read the autobiography of Malcolm X and I also watched the movie Malcolm X, and they were both very good. It was good. It was good. Anyway, so Memoirs of a Geisha, I thought the book was way, way better. There was just so much historical background and the descriptions of the costumes. Like, you're talking about a geisha. So in the book, the author goes into detail about the kimonos, or, the outfits that the geisha wear. And if you're talking about a geisha, that's kind of an important detail. And they also talked about the way the hair is done. And it just didn't translate from the book into the movie. Or maybe my imagination is just really, really healthy. But no. The book is so much better. And the movie was missing a lot of the background for the characters, that the characters weren't as developed in the movie as they are in the book. Anyway, so I would say read the book. But I don't know. I read the book before seeing the movie, so the movie was a total disappointment. I think if it was reversed, it might have been okay. If I had seen the movie before I read the book, then I might have thought that the movie was really good. It was just missing a lot of the details and the character development that happens in a book. Okay, so I hope that was enough. Okay, then there's another question. The second question or the topic was sex. Is it necessary in a relationship? In like a committed relationship, I guess. I would have to say that yes, it is necessary. Or if you start out without that being the focus, then I guess it's not. But I'm just going to say, for me, it is necessary. It is very necessary. And I don't usually like talking about sex because, I don't know what kind of viewers are watching. Like, if I always think of my nieces and nephews and young people, and I don't want to divulge too much information or for it to in any way become vulgar. So I used to mentor young women between the ages of 12 and 18. And when the topic of sex would come up, sex, kissing, dating, I always said, now this is in a Christian setting, in a church setting. And I used to tell them, I don't know why you want me to teach these young women, because I'm very, very non-traditional. Like I have a very different thought process than most religious people. I'm going to say it, most Mormon people. So I was teaching a group of girls and the topic of sex came up. And I said to them that sex is beautiful and it is a natural. It's as natural as breathing, and that they shouldn't be afraid of it or discourage it. I mean, I also taught that there's a time and a place for you to have sexual encounters, but kissing and all of that, those are part of the growing pains of growing up. But that sex is a wonderful, beautiful, natural thing. And so in terms of it being necessary in a relationship for me, absolutely. If we are in a romantic relationship, that better be part of the equation. It's so, when it's done right, that both partners are extremely satisfied. And that is what makes it so beautiful. But if one partner is not satisfied, not so beautiful. But if both partners are satisfied, it is such a beautiful thing. The feelings you get, the feel-good endorphins. Not only that, you get a feeling like your partner loves you or admires your beauty. And so I think it's a necessary part. I happen to enjoy it very much. So hell yes, it's part of, it has to be part of a romantic relationship. There is just no way around it. Is that silly? I don't know. Also, I think for younger people, when they're starting to get those feelings, like as a teenager, in American culture, like it's very, very common for the whole losing your virginity thing to be like a thing. It's like a thing that happens at such a young age where you lose your virginity and then it's done. And in the way my mother raised me, I don't know. I was on lockdown for all of my teenage years. So I didn't even have my first kiss till I was like 17, like first real kiss. And that was so awkward. And actually he stole the kiss because I was not trying to kiss him. But it did turn into like a really passionate kiss. But, I was 17 before that happened. And so so that's what I'm saying. Like, so American culture, it's like super, super duper common for people to talk about losing their virginity. Whereas in the way my mother raised me, probably because of my religious upbringing and also cultural background, that she had me on lockdown. There is no way I was ever going to be alone with a boy. So, and actually I was alone with a lot of boys, but they were my friends, like strictly platonic friends for real. Like I remember one of my good friends, he would always come, like during the summer, I would sneak out of the house and he would come pick me up, and then we would go hang out at Laya Point or all the spots around the area. And we were strictly, even till this day, we're just friends, and I love him dearly and I love his wife and his family. And yeah. So I was alone with boys, but I just didn't have those feelings to connect in that way. Not with them, at least. And anyway, so back to sex. Is it necessary in a relationship? There's actually a movie, one of my favorite movies, that kind of covers this topic. It stars Barbara Streisand in The Mirror Has Two Faces. I love that movie. And it talks about this almost like an arranged marriage. Like this professor wants a woman that he's not attracted to. He wants a wife that he's not attracted to, but that he can connect with on an intellectual level and go out on dates together. But he does not in no way want to be attracted, because he thinks sex convolutes and messes up the real relationship. Anyway, great movie. You should go watch it if you want to see how it ends. Well, I don't care if you watch it or not. Anyway, so what happens in the ending is that she does not want that. She is like a hopeless romantic, and she wants the whole fairy tale package where a man is like in love with her and can't keep his hands off of her. That's what she wants. And so in the end, she decides that she wants to leave the marriage. And she just leaves when he's away on a business trip. And while he's on that business trip, which is like it was a book tour, because he wrote a book and he released a book, and he was going on a book tour through Europe. So while he was away for the 3 months, she left the marriage, or she left the house that they were living in together, and she got fit, and she started caring about putting on makeup and what she wore and what she put in her body. And she transformed from frumpy girl to va-va-voom lady. And he comes back, and he's just blown away because he's attracted to her, but he's also fixed in his mind that he doesn't want sex in the marriage, because he wants a real relationship, and he doesn't think it should have the two. Anyway, so it ends with them dancing on the streets of New York, her in her pajamas and him completely madly in love with her, just yelling from below her mother's apartment. Ugh, I just love that movie. In the end, it's that Brian Adams song. It's a beautiful song. And that the ending is of that song. I finally found someone. That's the name of the song. And they're dancing in the streets. But it starts with the Luciano Pavarotti song too, which is how I got into opera, listening to that song, Nessun Dorma. So it starts with them playing that in the end scene, and then it goes into I finally found someone. So it's like, happy ending. Anyway, I love that movie, so go watch it. And it covers the topic of if sex is necessary in a relationship. So funny. I love that movie. I love Barbara Streisand. Finally, my most embarrassing moment. So the other day I posted a birthday tribute to one of my dear friends, Fusiloa. And the opening line says something like, to the person who yells safe, and everybody knows what she's talking about and starts laughing. So that is my most embarrassing moment. It was at the hands of Fusi. So it was the 8th grade, and after school we had volleyball practice, and we're getting onto the bus. So the city bus runs from Kauku High School, and it takes us all the way. I'm going to Hau'ula, Fusilo is going to Laie, and all the rest of my friends were going to Laie. I was the only one that lived in Hau'ula that played volleyball. So we get on the bus in front of Kauku High School, and we're done with volleyball practice. The junior varsity football players were getting off football practice. The junior varsity volleyball girls were getting off practice, so the bus stop was packed and the bus was packed. So we get on the bus and and we're standing like towards the back of the bus, right where the back door of the bus opens. We're standing near that area. And so we're driving, we get to Fusiloa's stop, and the bus starts to slow down. And when the bus slows down, you kind of overcompensate. I was leaning forward to because the stop was gonna make, anyway, I was leaning into the stop. And it was right in front of the Temple Road, that bus stop right there at Temple Road in Laie. And so I'm leaning into the stop, and right when I stood straight up, like the bus had almost come to a complete stop, Fusi pushes me. And I go sliding to the front, all the way to the front. And it was funny because I was going like this, and everybody that was standing in the aisle is like turning to let me fly to the front. So they're like all turning, and I'm coming down the aisle, and I get all the way to the bus driver. Like, I look up, and it's the bus driver. That's from me sliding on the floor of the bus. And everybody's like, Oh my gosh, it was like the whole sea parted, like the sea of people just parted to let me fall, to let me slide. And while this is happening, I'm flying to the front. Fusi jumps off because the bus stopped and it was her stop. She jumps off of the bus, runs to the front where I just landed looking at the bus driver, and the door is open and Fusi yells, "Safe!" Mind you, I still had to ride 2 more miles to my house. Like, if I could die, I would have jumped off. I mean, I should have jumped off because I was so embarrassed. Like, everybody was kind of holding their mouth, like, should we laugh or should we ask if she's okay? I was so embarrassed, but I wasn't gonna show that I was embarrassed. So I just stood up and took a bow. I was like, thank you, thank you. Everybody gets a laugh off of me. And that was my most embarrassing moment. I tell the story all the time because it is, for real, the most embarrassing moment. I've had other embarrassing things happen to me, but that by far takes the cake. So I still had to ride the 2 miles while everybody's just looking at me cracking up in the whole bus. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. Anyway, so those are my 3 topics this Wednesday. Thanks for being here, everybody. I hope you have a fabulous week. If you don't follow me on Instagram, it's at Love Nina Love. On my Facebook page, I'm facebook.com/Love Nina Love. So follow me there too. And let me know what you think in my inbox. I'm sure I'm going to hear all about it. And now people who have seen my tribute post, my birthday post to Fusiloa, can now understand what safe means. That is what safe means. All at the hands of Fusiloa. Anyway, have a great week, everybody. It's your girl, Nina Love.